Hi everybody and welcome to Gettin' Crafty with Kimberly. It's a show focused on neat and crafty ideas that can be made inexpensively or even with items found around the house. If you're upcycling or starting from scratch, you're going to love this show. Today we're going to make something called Sharpie tie-dye t-shirts. Sharpie tie-dye. I love doing the tie-dye. The children, all of my friends, we all love to get together. But a lot of times you don't feel like getting the big buckets out and doing the dye, and it makes such a mess, and sometimes it's just more of a project than you really want to get involved with. So I've got the easy way for you to tie-dye using Sharpies. Here's one of the shirts that we've made. Here's what we're going to do today. We're going to be working on something along these lines. Isn't that cute? So this is how we're going to make our Sharpie tie-dye t-shirts. I happen to have these old t-shirts, just old white t-shirts. You'll need any kind of light t-shirt that you can get. White always works best. If you wanted to try something yellow or something bright, you could, but I would recommend just an old white t-shirt if you had one. These actually got pilfered from the laundry. I had deemed them unfit to wear in public for the people who were going to wear them. You can see the spots and stuff on them. So we decided to fancy them up and put them right back in the wear pile. So what you'll need for today's show is you'll need pre-washed, doesn't even really have to be all that clean, but just have you a nice white t-shirt, or at least, like I said, a light colored t-shirt. You'll also need a piece of cardboard, just any old kind of cardboard or plexiglass if you've got some of that. You'll also need solo type cups, just these plastic cups, just a 16 ounce, 10 ounce, whatever you've got. You're not going to be drinking anything from them, but I'll show you what you need the big mouth for. You'll also need rubbing alcohol. I just have plain old alcohol that I have put in a squirt bottle, just an old medicine bottle with an old dropper. So if you can find something with an old dropper to put your alcohol in, put your alcohol in this. Also, you'll need a rubber band, and then you'll need some Sharpie markers. You'll want the permanent markers because you want to treat it like tie-dye. You want it to actually stay in there for a while. So I picked these light colored ones, the neons and the pinks, and I just thought they would be really, really pretty coming out like that. All right, so what you'll want to do first is lay out your t-shirt, get it all stretched out there, and put your cardboard inside the t-shirt. And the reason you want to do that is so your marker and your tie-dye stuff does not go all the way through to the back side. Now if you decide you'd like to have it identical on the back side, then let it bleed on through. But for this right now, we're just going to do the front side. I'm just going to put that right in there about where I'm going to start. Now you get your solo type cup, just your plain old plastic cup, put it under the shirt, wherever you think you would like to make your first design. I think I'm just going to start mine right here kind of close to the neck. You'll want to stretch it out a little bit and then put your rubber band around it. There you go, super simple. Now you'll take your magic markers, your Sharpies, your permanent markers. They don't necessarily have to be Sharpie brand, but make sure that they are permanent markers. And then you'll just start making your designs. Now you'll want to keep your design about the size of a quarter or a $half. That I have found makes it easy to manage. Then after you get familiar with it, then you may want to do something a little bit different. Me and my girls were working on some of these shirts and we got pretty creative. We just kind of moved our stuff around and we ended up going out a little bit further than the nickel or quarter, $half size. All right, so I'm just making some little designs here. Anything that you'd like to do, and you'll be amazed when this alcohol hits this shirt. And I think I used a 70% isopropyl. I think it had 70%. And for each quarter size shape that you have, you'll want to put about 10 drops. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Doesn't have to be exact, but about 10 drops seems to do the trick. Now I'm going to put just a little bit more since we went outside of our quarter shape. But you can see as you spread the alcohol, You can see the really, really neat tie-dye stuff that it makes. Isn't that amazing? And this is so much easier. We actually had a large time doing this, and then when we went to clean up, we picked all our goodies up and left. No buckets to clean up or anything. All right, so I'm gonna just give that a little bit of a dry. Not for long, because it only takes a second for alcohol to dry. Now, if you wanted to, you could just leave your cup in like that, but it's tie-dye, and I really don't think that you can mess tie-dye up. The more tie-dye spreads, the better it looks. All right, now I think I'll do my other one. I'll do another one right here. The rubber band around it, stretch it out a little bit, and you don't have to get it stretched out. If you want it to be crinkly looking, just leave it crinkled on the top. Remember, this is your design. You can do anything you want to do. Here, we'll spell something with this one. We'll spell love. And of course, this is obviously bigger than a quarter or a nickel, but like I said, until you decide what you're doing, until you kind of have a feel for it, just have fun with it. Make it a smaller size. It'll probably be easier to deal with. Again, I like these neon color Sharpies, and they're super simple to find, and most people will have Sharpies lying about. I had the standard colored Sharpies, which were the reds and the blacks and stuff, and so I thought, well, it's time to increase my Sharpie supply. And so I went and got the neon colors, just because I like neon colors, and I thought, well, when it comes to tie-dye, I kind of like the neon colors. That's just my personal preference. I know for the schools around here, it's red, white, and blue, and that's always gorgeous. Your school may be a different color. You could use that. Anything. All right. Now, I sat under a ceiling fan, sat in the floor and had my ceiling fan blowing, and it was perfect because it dried everything up right away. But again, doesn't matter. This is so easy and so simple that you're not going to have a single worry in the world. Now, what my girls did when we were working on theirs, they wanted to make theirs like more of a scene. So they did different circles on theirs. They just did the words here and just different scenes on theirs. Little faces, all kinds of little different stuff. Wherein I tied mine all together. I put mine kind of, blended it together just because that was my preference. So I made mine like a whole design on the front and embellished it. I'll show you some embellishments in a little bit too. So however you want to do it, if you want circles like the story of your life, or you know, your friends or whatever, just make circles depicting each different thing that you want to show, because you know it will come out so cute and it'll have that tie-dyed effect. Just adorable. All right, I'm gonna make us some more designs here. And probably everybody's got some rubbing alcohol around. And then old t-shirts. So again, this is a very inexpensive craft. Now, if you didn't want to go out, if you don't have these kind of cups and you didn't want to go out and buy any, just use whatever mouth size cup that you might have at home. And then it won't cost you anything. I always like to make these things as inexpensively as I can. You know, by just having stuff around the house, or sometimes picking a few things up. But then that's always fun. All right. Put my rubber band on here, and I'm going to blend these two circles with this one and see how this comes out. About 10, maybe a few more around the edge. And I think I'm going to go ahead, since these are all kind of stretched out a little bit, I think I'm going to kind of line them a little. See how that does. This is really fun because you draw your own thing. You can do letters, anything you want that you want to give a tie-dye effect to. That's the fun part, is it's all about your imagination. And here's what we've got so far. Isn't that cute? And you can see as it goes on a little bit more, you can see how the tie-dye looks just like tie-dye. The Sharpie ink with the alcohol continues to just spread on out. And the thing is, it'll look even better tomorrow because it'll be more spread out. You know, it'll be more of that tie-dye look. Let's make us a, how about a sunshine face? Now, the neon colors are what I have chosen because I thought that I didn't want dark colors on mine. Something you do need to keep in mind is that if you use dark colors, like for example, if you use a red and blue, you're going to come up with a deep purple. If you use orange and blue, you're going to come up with a deep brown. So you'll want to kind of think about that because you want to stick with colors that will be complementary to each other and not overrun each other. You don't want them to, you don't want to end up with a big old ugly black or brown mass just because you used what you thought would be pretty colors. So you'll definitely want to keep that in mind as you select the Sharpie color that you want to think about. That's why I went with all these. Like blue and orange equals brown. I just kind of didn't want that. So I chose all these light ones. Just another little design. See how cute that's coming out? That is really nice. And if you decide to slip it on while you're trying it to see where it may land on your person, remember that this will probably transfer off onto what you've got on. So you'll want to keep that in mind, to have something junky on if you're going to try it on. Because, you know, where they hit and what you like and stuff. So you don't want funky stuff in funky places. Or maybe you do. I don't know. All right, I'm going to make some more down here. We'll move on down just a little bit more. And I think I'll make this one separate. I'm actually going to put on some embellishments on this one. I'm going to do like an iron-on transfer and some things like that. All right, let's do, how about just some squiggly lines. If you have some type of design that you enjoy putting on stuff or initials, just use that. Use it all. Pretty, pretty. This kind of stuff you can't mess up. The more you do to something like this, the more beautiful it becomes. Like I said, start with about 10 drops and then kind of see where you're at. And as this progresses, it'll get larger, just a little bit larger, kind of like your tie-dye does. Isn't that cute? Now I think I'm going to tie these together just right in here. I believe I'm going to put something right there. Go with the purple. Purple's always like the standard tie-dye color. I like that. So we'll put these dots here. I think I'll go ahead and put those all the way around. Purple dots are just cool. Unless, of course, you don't mean to be seeing purple dots, then you might be in trouble. But in this case, purple dots are cool. Put just a little bit on each one of those. Cute. That kind of gave us a leopard spot effect, which you could do down the whole shirt to tie it together. What was amazing to me is how simple that this project was and how much it looks like I put effort into it. It looks like I just really spent a lot of time and effort on it. But now this is something everybody will love doing. Old folks, young folks, all the folks like doing this because it's fun. You get to use your creativity. All right, let's draw just anything. I think I'll use a pretty pink this time. Make some electricity marks. And of course, the more ink that you put on too, the darker your marks are going to come out. So you want just a little bit of the tie-dye effect, use just a little bit. If you want a lot of the tie-dye effect, mash down your marker hard. That's so cute. All right, now this is looking pretty good to me. I think I'm going to like this. Remember to keep your cardboard or your plexiglass, whatever you use, on there. See, I got just a little pinch on the back, so you'll want to be leery of that if you don't want to. And see how this is continuing to fade just a little bit? It looks exactly like tie-dye. It gives you the very exact same effect without all the mess. See, now this will continue on. All right, so while we're waiting for some of this alcohol to dry here, what do you say we embellish it with some little beads? And I've even got an iron-on transfer and some glitters and stuff. Now, of course, you'll want to, whatever you use, you'll want to make sure that it's washer-proof, that it's washable. So I'm going to use this super fabric glue because I know for a fact it's washable because I've got so much stuff glued onto my shirts and pants and all kinds of purses and everything. So I just got some of these little beads here, just some little doodads. And I think I'm just going to put a little border, just a little dab of beads and stuff right through there, see what I end up with. Those will dry for a few minutes. Then I think I'm just going to put some little dots down also. See what I come up with there. The surprise factor of this is pretty fun too. I think I'll put some right inside that. Going to be nice. Like I said, you can use anything you want, just make sure that it is machine washable. Now my girls didn't put any embellishments on theirs because they were some of their daddy's old t-shirts and they're just going to wear them to sleep in. So they didn't want to have to worry about rolling over beads in the middle of the night. All right, so there's some of that. Now I'm going to put a little bit of glitter. Now I don't know if this glitter will make it through the wash or not, but at least the first time that I wear it, it's going to look really good because glitter makes everything better. And you can quote me on that. Let's see, I'm going to use this white glitter here. Sprinkle that on. I love this type of iridescent glitter. So I'm going to put a little bit more up here. And this is your thing, so you get to do whatever you would like to do with it. Now when you get finished with your t-shirt completely, you'll want to give it a tumble in the dryer, maybe even before you put your beads and stuff on it, just to set the ink onto your shirt. Then that way when you go to wash it next time, you should be in good shape. But make sure you let that set, let the ink set in your shirt. We'll see what we've come up with here. Shake this off a little bit. Oh, that's cute. And we've got love right in the middle. Now I'm also going to add an iron-on patch to this one because it's just not enough stuff for me yet. So I got this really pretty butterfly stencil iron-on patch that I already had, and I thought, man, that's going to be awesome. So I think I'm going to put it like right up here. I believe that that's what I will do. You could also do a sew-on patch if you wanted, but this is just so much easier. So we'll get all this going here. And I'm going to just put that there. And I've got my iron already heated up, and just follow your iron-on transfers instructions. This one wanted you to just put it on the cotton setting because I am using a cotton t-shirt. I had some really old stencils, iron-on stencils and things that I just had laying around. You know, and after a while, you get to looking at all your stuff and you think, man, I've had this for years and I'm not going to use it. And so that's why I think, get that stuff out and use it. No sense in hanging on to it. So a lot of this stuff has been collecting dust, these little beads and things. Been collecting dust for a long time. All right, we'll see if that got our iron-on transfer. I've never used this kind of transfer, this particular brand, so I hope it did well. If not, I'll just sit down with my glue and glue that thing on. That actually came out pretty well. Looky there. Now I'm going to put some more tie-dye on there. I think I'm going to put just a little bit of pink over here on the edges, right around my beads and stuff. And I'm going to tie all mine together too, instead of having the different cups. I love that. Of course, pinks. I love pinks. I love blues. I'll give this butterfly a friend. Draw a little butterfly in there. Or my pitiful rendition of a butterfly. But the thing is, even my pitiful rendition of a butterfly is going to look like I meant to do it. Because the tie-dye is going to pick up where maybe I'm not so good at it. Give some eyeballs and a smiley face there to my butterfly. A few dots. So all the butterflies I know have dots on them. Not really, but we'll try it anyway. Like I said, don't forget when you get done then to give this a round in the dryer just to make it sets, just to make sure it sets. You'll want to let it dry, let the alcohol dry first, then let it set. Put some little blue squiggles. You could even make some type of shirt like this for a birthday if you wanted to draw like a bouquet of balloons on it and then write something, happy birthday or the person's name or anything. That's the fun thing about crafts like this, is that it's whatever you decide you'd like to do. Oh, that's coming along nicely. Now looking at it, I think I'm going to put just a little bit more color right here. And then I believe I will be satisfied with it. Now you know that you don't have any iron-on transfers, don't have any glitter, don't have any of this stuff, don't worry about it. They're absolutely beautiful and very functional without all the extra stuff. I just like, I go over the top. I can't help it and I admit it, so there you go. To me, more bling is better. Now if you had some little bows, you could make some type of little bows with ribbon, and you could even hook those onto it. If you made them like a pen, you could take them off when you went to wash them. Went to wash the shirt. A little bit more alcohol. And again, this is just plain old rubbing alcohol. I just picked it up at the drugstore. Actually, I've had it in my cabinet forever, but I'm sure that that's where it came from originally. That's one of those things that everybody has. You're not really sure where it came from, but you know that you've got some. Now, like I said, when we were working on ours, we were sitting under a fan. And that just helped it dry very quickly. No big deal, it doesn't matter. I really like that. That is so adorable. And it's all from an old shirt that was getting ready to get thrown in the garbage can. Now this is pretty dry, so I'll take the cardboard out of it now. But before you take your cardboard out, make sure that your alcohol is real dry because you don't want it to bleed over. See, I did get a little bit on the back there, so you'll want to make sure and watch out for that. All right, what do you think about my new tie-dye shirt? Made with Sharpies. Well, I certainly do hope that you have enjoyed today's show. I know I sure did have a great time doing it. Send us some pictures or something of some of the items that you make along the show. We'd love to see them. And if you'd like to keep up with us, you can check us out on Facebook and Twitter. And join us next time on Gettin' Crafty with Kimberly. Thanks for watching.